What's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? We are here. I hope the camera is not giving me a hard time. I meant to shut my computer off and shut it back on, and I forgot to do that. So I know the camera's been giving me some problems, but I hope it's not too blurry, or I hope it's not blurry at all. Come on in, come on in, come on in. We are here to talk about Belle Collective Birmingham. We're going to go ahead and do these 2 episodes because I never got caught up this week. So we're just going to go ahead and get both of these episodes because, and y'all are going to probably be mad at me before it's over with. It is blurry. Yeah, I don't know how to fix it. I don't know what the problem is, so I don't know how to fix it. Because on my side, I'm clear as a bell. Like, what I'm looking at is clear as a bell, so I don't know what to do. I don't know if I just need a new camera or what. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'll just turn the camera off. I hate not being on camera though. I hate it. I tried to change like the settings on the camera and all of that, and I don't know why it's doing it. I changed the definition. Let me do low definition. I don't know. Is that better? I changed it to low definition. Let me know if that's better. I don't know. I changed the definition to low definition. So, okay, y'all. Okay. So, so we pick up, episode 5, we pick up where we left off at the end of episode 4. They still standing in front of the Civil Rights Museum and they still arguing. And here's my issue with, and I said this on last episode, and I'm going to say it. You don't think it's the camera? What do you think it is, Quake? Because I don't know what to try to fix. Here's my issue. I think both of them are being stupid for different reasons. So in this situation right here, I think Stormy was very defensive, and if I were Tiffany, I would have been freaking exhausted. I'm trying to have a conversation with you. I'm trying to ask you what the issue is. I clearly can tell you have an issue with me. I clearly can tell there's a problem. You have this whole attitude. And when I'm trying to talk to you, you keep asking me, well, what did she say? Well, do you think you offended me? I clearly don't think I offended you, because if I thought I had offended you, I would have started the conversation off by saying, I realize I offended you. So for her to say, I was told that I offended you and I wanted to talk to you about it, that was an opportunity for Stormy to say, yeah, you did offend me, and here's what happened, and here is why. It is really frustrating to me that you can talk to everybody else about how Tiffany offended you, and then when Tiffany comes to you to have the conversation, now you got an attitude. You think it's the internet speed? Child, this internet. See what happened when I got cheaper internet and I'm paying for it. Oh, anyway. I have a what's that thing called? Not an extender. I need to plug it in. Anyway, I'll plug it in between this video and my next video, because my next video I'm going straight into my review of the cruise. But that's a good point, Quake. It might be the internet speed. That's a good point. This dang on internet chat. It's cheaper, but it's cheaper. So with that being said, let me just keep going. With that being said, I feel like, so I was on Tiffany's side until, because I felt like Stormy was just being difficult for no reason. Because at the end of the day, just because you're offended does not mean that people know they offended you. So if you could tell everybody else that what Tiffany did and said offended you, then you could have the conversation when Tiffany approaches you. And then, like, I already told you how, so, but here's where Tiffany lost me. After they go back and forth, and thank you, Chanel, because Chanel was the one that finally said, girl, it was the mop. It was the comment about the mop. And I was like, thank you, Chanel, for finally saying what the issue was. Because she was like, girl, it was the mop. Like, damn, I'm sick of this. It was the mop. And I was like, thank you. So once we now know that the issue is the mop and the conversation is the mop and the problem is the mop, Tiffany, your response, your only response in this situation is, Stormy, it was not my intention to be offensive. I thought I was telling a joke. I can see that you didn't take it that way. I apologize. Girl, that is your only answer. That is your only freaking answer. Because it doesn't matter whether you thought it was funny or not. It is clear that Stormy didn't find it funny. It doesn't matter what your intention was. It matters that you offended. See what I'm saying? My intention to offend, I didn't mean to offend you, but you did, and I'm telling you you did. Your only response is, I apologize for offending you. Not if, for offending you. And when Stormy said, well, do you still think it was funny? Tiffany, the minute you said, yeah, it was funny, I'm Team Stormy. Because I'm like, now, okay, so you still think this shit was funny. I thought I just told you that it wasn't after I'm upset. Like, now, Tiffany, now I'm Team Stormy. You see, in this argument, I went from on Tiffany's side to Stormy's side because Tiffany, girl, no. JB said, unpopular opinion. I kind of understood Stormy. I want to know what old girl said if I never talked to her. I'm going to say this. I hear you, but I would not have let that derail the conversation. Like, I wouldn't have been so stuck on what she said, because what I would have said was, I don't know what she told you, but this is what offended me. You see what I'm saying? Because here's the thing. Again, Stormy done talked to everybody else about this, except for the person that offended her. Stormy's supposed to be so straightforward, to the point, no nonsense, no bullshit, yet you can't have the conversation. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't like that. And again, I hear what you're saying, that she didn't know what the girl said. So I'm not saying Stormy had to agree. I'm just saying the conversation, the door opened, and instead of Stormy saying, well, I'm going to take this as an opportunity to go ahead and clear the air with this lady, it was antagonistic. Because it would have pissed me off. I'm just going to be honest with y'all. It would have pissed me off. If I come to you and I say, look, Scotty told me that you were offended, the other night. And if you would say, well, what Scotty tell you? And I would have said, well, I just, I want to talk to you because, it doesn't matter what Scotty said. Did I offend you? And if you couldn't get past, well, what did Scotty tell you? Well, what did Scotty say? Well, what did Scotty say? Well, what, baby, I'd have been like, well, fuck it. Just be offended. Because that would have pissed me off. But by the end of the conversation, I was on Stormy's side. Because, Tiffany, you can't sit here have a whole conversation with somebody with them saying a whole conversation about somebody being offended, and then at the end gonna say, well, I still thought the shit was funny. Tiffany also talked to everyone else but Stormy. She knew exactly what the issue was, but instead of leading until she came to passive aggressive. Say, I disagree. And I know y'all feel differently. And that's why I say it's an unpopular opinion. And I accept my opinion as an unpopular opinion. But this is how I feel about it. Tiffany didn't talk to anybody about it until she was uninvited from Stormy's party and knew something was wrong. Tiffany didn't talk to anybody about it. When Tiffany was talking to Amber, Tiffany was talking about what happened between her and Fumi. She didn't realize that it was an issue. Like, she wasn't. And then when she got uninvited, then it was, well, damn, was it that serious? You didn't uninvited me? It was that deep? Well, damn. So I disagree with that. And when you say we all know that Tiffany is full of shit, well, I think Again, I think both of them are full of shit. If I'm being honest, I think both of them are. I'm not saying that Tiffany is right and Stormy's wrong. I think both of them are being ridiculous, in my opinion. But that's why I know it's an unpopular opinion, and I'm okay with that. So let me keep going. But Stormy asked if she thought it was funny. Well, so here's the thing. True, she asked if she thought it was funny, but this is what I'm gonna say. My response would have been, if you're trying to move forward, right? If you're sincerely trying to move forward with somebody, my thing would have been, at the time I thought it was funny, but I realize now you didn't take it that way. So, that's my sense of humor, and I'm sorry. We don't know each other well enough for you to understand that about me, but I see that you didn't find that funny. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're really trying to move forward, there was a way for her to say that without it sound like she was doubling down. And I feel like she was doubling down. She talked to the mayor's wife about it and told her she knew why Stormy was offended. Yeah, after she had talked to everybody, she talked to the mayor's wife when they were in the car on the way to the Civil Rights Museum. That was after she had talked to the other people. What I'm saying was, Tiffany, you're saying that Tiffany talked to everybody else. Yes, but Tiffany didn't go to other people and say, hey, is Stormy offended? Was Stormy offended? What I'm saying is Stormy talked to everybody else about being offended. And instead of having a conversation with Tiffany, she just uninvites Tiffany from the event, which I thought was fucked up. I thought that was messed up, and I thought that was a cowardly way of handling that rather than talk to her. You just and you didn't even, Kitty Doc, I apologize. I did not see that you had sent me a Cash App. I thank you so much. I didn't see it until the other day. So thank you for the drink, baby. I spent it on them drinks on the cruise too. I bought me a drink too. Thank you so much. So allegedly it was already some tension behind the scenes because Tiff feels that she is from Brom and has connections, and Stormy is only there because she has money. Oh. Hey, Chuck, I can see you, boo. Well, I guess my opinion is also unpopular, too, because I agree with Really B. That meetup should have went a different way if Stormy really felt some type of way and let her know. I just think the way it was handled from the beginning, I just think uninviting somebody without even having a conversation with them to uninvite them, I think is messed up. And let me say this. I'm going to put myself in those shoes. Y'all, I know y'all don't think I'm a sensitive person, but I'm a very sensitive person. If you invite me somewhere and then I find out through the grapevine that I have been uninvited, I would be really hurt by that. Regardless of Tiffany's, I would be. So I put myself in Tiffany's shoes from that perspective. That would hurt my feelings so bad to find out the person invited you and you didn't even call me to tell me. Again, you have every right to uninvite me, but you didn't even call me and tell me. I had to find out from other people that I was no longer on the list. What kind of shit is that? And then I'm coming to you saying, hey, I was told that I offended you. And instead of us getting to the part that was offensive, we can't even get past. So what did she tell you? Well, do you think you offended me? Well, do you feel like you offended me? Well, Stormy was wearing me out, y'all. She was wearing me out. But again, like I said, but then I felt like, Tiffany, you, instead of acknowledging so y'all can move forward, I felt like you just wanted to double down. Really, I understand what you're saying, but Tiffany could have led with the issue instead of dancing around it. But she did lead with the issue. She said, I talked to so-and-so and she told me that I offended you. She did. What was she supposed to say? She absolutely did lead with the issue. Stormy was the one that was like, well, do you think you offended me? Well, what did she say? What did she say I said? Well, what did she say that I said that I said? What did she say that? Girl, I feel like she did. But again, we saw, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with being the on the unpopular side of this. So next we see a scene with Stormy and her son. We found out about her fertility journey. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me put a pin in that. So then Tiffany ends up walking off. They never go in the damn museum. Tiffany didn't say right. Okay, Tiffany didn't say who told her, but she eventually said who told her, because that's when Stormy was like, well, what did she tell you? She said who it was. Maybe she didn't say, maybe that wasn't the first thing she said. But again, it doesn't matter. I know that matters to y'all, but to me, it doesn't. If somebody comes to me and says, hey, I heard that I offended you, it wouldn't fucking matter. If you offended me, if I'm upset with you, it wouldn't fucking matter to me where it came from. It would matter to me that you know that you offended me and let's have the conversation. But again, I see that matters to y'all. It wouldn't matter to me. But anyway, but here again, as Tiffany is walking off, here's the other thing about you, Miss Tiffany, that irritated me. And Kitty Dog, what is Brom? BR? Is that like the church that she's from? Because you said that, or Birmingham, or is that an abbreviation for Birmingham? Because she's not wrong. I mean, clearly Stormy is the centerpiece of this show. But I don't think it's just because she has money. I think it's because she comes from Love and Marriage Huntsville and she's going to be the anchor, because it's sort of, you know what I mean? Like, people already know her on the network. Nobody knows you, Tiffany. No disrespect. Well, nobody knows you. Maybe people in Birmingham know you, but I don't know who you are. I know who Stormy is. That's the observation. That's okay. Yeah, and I can see I can see that. But again, Tiffany, girl, it's a TV show, and they have to bring in the fans. And whether people love or hate Stormy, everybody knows who Stormy is. Whether we liked her or we didn't like her from Love and Marriage Huntsville, there's a fan base that's going to watch just because she's there. I hate to say it, Tiffany, but girl, don't nobody know who you are. And just because your uncle is as Ricky Smiley, girl, don't nobody know that either. I mean, we know now, but it's not like we know you from, like, you know, so. As y'all are walking back to the car, Tiffany was like, and this is when I was like, see, Tiffany, you full of shit. And that's why I said, by the end of this, I was back on Stormy's side talking about and what's wrong with serving? There's nothing wrong with serving. I said, see, Stormy, see, Tiffany, that's your issue, because you meant what you said when you said it. And again, and that's going to come back in the next episode. So I'll wait till we get there, child. So Stormy is doing a time capsule on her mom's property where she's building her parents a new home. Here's what I appreciated about this scene. First of all, I thought this was really cute how she had him she explained to him what a time capsule was, and then she had him pick his toys and explain to him, when your kids get older, you'll be able to dig it up and share some things with them. Now, I hope they put more in the time capsule than just his toys. And I know she said that each one of them were going to put stuff, but I hope that maybe you put, I'm not going to say his actual baby book, because you may not want to put his full baby book in there, but I hope you put some other things. But I thought that was cute. It was clear that they had prepped him a little bit because he knew what a time capsule was, but that's good. That saved time. He know what a time capsule is. But I thought that was a really cute thing. And then we saw Stormy talking to her mom and her dad. Now, I didn't know her parents were still together. I remember her filming with her mom on Love and Marriage Huntsville, but I didn't remember her parents. I didn't know her parents were still together. So I love that. I love that she's building them this home. And I love that they kind of talked a little bit about, when she first decided to build and, she dropped out of college and that kind of thing. What I love, for those of you who watch Love and Marriage Huntsville, what I loved is that I feel like they're trying to do a little bit of a reset as it relates to Stormy and her mom's relationship. I love that we didn't bring that toxic relationship from Love and Marriage Huntsville over. And that doesn't mean that that doesn't mean we're not going to see glimpses of it. But I love that we didn't bring, that's her stepdad. Her real dad passed away. Oh, okay. I love that we didn't bring that over, because that was really bad. That was a lot. That was a lot, you know. And I'm just glad that we're not getting that, you know. But it was a good conversation, you know. It was a great conversation, and you know that was a great thing that Stormy's doing with her parents, building that looks like it's gonna be a really nice house on that property. Then we see Amber, who is still struggling with yeah, her mama is a lot. So I hope we keep it what we saw. I don't want to go back down that road of the toxic. I don't want to do that. What's up, y'all? Hey, everybody coming in. She said her real dad didn't meet her son. He passed away. I thought that was her grandfather. I thought that was her grandfather she was talking about. She said Pop. Usually that's like a granddad. But maybe that's her dad. I thought it was her grandfather, though. Okay. Okay, well, maybe that's what it is then. I thought she was talking about her grandfather when she talked about him passing away before meeting her son. Okay. Yeah, I thought that was the granddad. So Amber is still struggling with this egg retrieval situation. We see where she said her friend comes over, who's also a doctor, to give her some stuff to help her. And she's still struggling through. Again, I love that they're giving us these real storylines outside of the drama, outside of the business. These are real things that women, not just Black women, but this is a Black woman show, so we're gonna say Black women. These are some real things that Black women deal with, especially women who are in their careers and may not have found a husband and may not have, be in that space yet. So, and I love that we see the real of it. It's not just glamorous going to a doctor's office and, oh, look at what I did. It's a lot to it. So thank you, Amber, for sharing your story with us. I appreciate that. Child. Now, again, the person that I think is really the villain, see, y'all focused on Tiffany. I think Tiffany full of shit, but I don't think Tiffany's the villain. The person that I think is the villain, and I don't think enough people are paying attention to her, is Kayla. Kayla is the villain. So we saw Kayla go to lunch with Tiffany and her friend, the mayor's wife. Tiffany is very patronizing. Because Tiffany was like, well, I wanted to invite Kayla because she said she didn't have a lot of friends. And, I want to try to extend myself and show her what, and show her to our, invite her to our world and be a friend to her. And the way she said it, though, was so patronizing. I don't know. I'm not saying it didn't come from a good place, but it just was patronizing to me. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. It would have rubbed me the wrong way. The way she kept talking like Kayla was almost like a charity case for her. It rubbed me the wrong way. However, they're sitting there and they're eating. One of my biggest pet peeves is people who talk about other people's food. Our taste buds are different. We all eat things differently. We come from different parts of the country, maybe different parts of the world, and we do different things. When Tiffany decided to put sugar on her grits, saying it one time, like, girl, I know you're not about to put that sugar on your grits. And when Tiffany said, yeah, that's how I like them, that's the end of the conversation. Why did you sit there and keep talking about that woman putting that sugar on her grits? If that's how she want to eat her grits, she's not making you eat them. She is not making you put them grits in her mouth. Those her grits that she gonna pay for. Leave them grits alone. And again, I get the whole don't put sugar on your grits. Like, we've had the debate. I'm not talking about that kind of thing. But she was like, oh my God, no, you're not. Oh my God. And she just kept doing it. Right, Chuck. Kayla was wrong because that's not Kayla food. Again, I'm not talking about if we were sitting there joking. We've had the debate about putting salt or sugar on your grits. Like, we got that. But once you said it and Tiffany was like, no, that's how I'm going to eat them, girl, leave it alone. Let that woman eat her grits. And that's a small thing. But they move on in the conversation. And I don't think that Tiffany was wrong when she made an assumption about Kayla being there on a mission. Let me tell you why. Tiffany knew good and well that Kayla knew what the issue was. Tiffany is talking about what's going on between her and Stormy. And instead of Kayla saying, yeah, I heard about that mop girl, you gonna sit there and act like you don't know what's going on. What happened? Stormy's mad? What's Stormy mad about? Well, I don't know. Tell me what happened. Tell me the story. Tell me the situation. Girl, you know what happened. And Tiffany knows what happened. And you gonna sit there and just act clueless. And I understood 100% why Tiffany and her friend was side-eyeing Kayla. Because, girl, you ain't even a good actress. Well, I mean, I just want to understand. I mean, Tiffany is suspicious because she is small-minded and that's how she would have. No, Tiffany is suspicious because she knew Kayla fucking knew what was going on. Because everybody knew what was going on. Which is another reason why I was irritated with Stormy, because everybody knew except for the person you had an issue with. I know you, just me, you clearly don't like Tiffany, and that's okay. But no. I would have felt the same way. I'd have been like, girl, don't play in my face. You sitting in my face like you don't know, and you absolutely know. Now I'm going back. Because Kayla, I was giving you the benefit of the doubt, and I thought Amber was maybe being a little bit extra. But now I'm thinking maybe Amber was on to something. Maybe Amber was on to something. And then for you to leave out of the restaurant, girl, you couldn't even get your car good before you called Stormy to tell Stormy what happened. Which further pushes the narrative of what Tiffany was already thinking. Because again, if I already think that y'all are in cahoots together and you playing with me and you just here on a mission, and then I come out the restaurant and that's who you talking to, oh, it's confirmed. It's confirmed. You couldn't even get to your car? You couldn't even get to your car before you called her. Oh, it's confirmed. Oh, this was a whole setup. You came in here acting stupid, acting like you ain't know what was going on, acting like you was clueless, and this was a whole fucking setup. And that's exactly how I would have felt. I don't think Tiffany was crazy to feel like it was a setup, because that's how I would have felt. I do think, well, okay, so you say you don't think she was being messy. I don't know if messy is the right word, but why would you pretend like you didn't know what was going on? Just say, hey, I heard Stormy's side of the story. I just want to hear your side of the story. Girl, what is going on? You could have, see, maybe I'm just too direct when it comes to certain things because I don't understand why we dancing around the shit. If you know what happened, you know what happened. But for you to sit there and act like you don't know what happened, and then Tiffany was like, girl, I see what's going on here. And you were like, what? What do you mean? What's going on? What are you talking about? Just say, I heard Stormy's side of the story. What happened? Tell me your side of the story. And I feel like it would have been a different response because don't play in my face. Don't come to me and act like you don't know what happened when I know you know what happened. And then I come out and what you doing? You talking to the person that I already feel like you set me up with. I don't know. That's just how I would have felt about the situation. But Well, I do agree to. Oh, okay, I just said that. So why did Tiffany invite Kayla to lunch in the first place? She invited Kayla to lunch. I just said that part, Chuck. She invited Kayla to lunch because she was like, well, Kayla says she doesn't have a lot of female friends, and me and my girlfriend going to invite her out. We want to just be a friend to her. We try to build a friendship. That's why she said she invited Kayla. Stormy name wasn't even a part of the conversation. She was trying to get to know Kayla, according to what she said. Because Kayla said, look, I've been with my husband, I was with him from a young age, and I really didn't have a chance to, I started having kids, and I just really never had a chance to get to know women and build friendships with women, Right, Quake. They because it's a show and they needed to see, right? Tiffany wasn't talking. Oh my God, Chuck, go watch the episode. Go watch the episode. Tiffany wasn't talking about Stormy. Kayla brought Stormy up. Kayla said, how'd everything go at the Civil Rights Museum? And that's when Tiffany was like, well, me and Stormy, we never made it inside. And Kayla was like, well, why? What happened? And Tiffany was like, well, me and Stormy just had we had a little situation, but and Tiffany kept trying to bring it back around to, I'm here to talk to you. Well, what happened? What do you mean? What happened? What's going on? What happened? Kayla kept trying to have that conversation. Right. Tiffany never brought Stormy up. Chuck, go watch the episode. I love you, but go watch the episode. Yeah. Right, girl says what? I said girl says what? Girl, what? She never brought Stormy up. Kayla kept trying to figure out what happened at the so, which is why Tiffany was like, girl, you know what happened. Like, you playing in my face. You know what happened at the Civil Rights Museum. I don't think Kayla was at the event with the mop situation. I thought she was asking about it for more information. Even if she was just trying to get Tiffany's side, what's the issue with asking? No, Kendra said they never made it in, and Tiffany started talking about the situation. Kayla asked about the museum, and Tiffany was vague as F. Right, because she didn't want to talk about it. Because why am I talking about? I guess we just see things differently, y'all, and that's okay. Why am I going to talk to you about a situation that don't have shit to do with you? Again, see, I feel like there's a no-win situation. If Tiffany had started talking about Stormy, then people be like, and she was being shady as fuck. Why was she sitting there talking about Stormy? Because Kayla wasn't even there. Why would she be talking to Kayla about Stormy? She was trying not to talk about Stormy, and now that's a problem. I just feel like people can't win sometimes. And when you say, well, Tiffany wasn't at the event, Kayla wasn't at the event, but Kayla knew what happened. Production even played the scene back when they talked about it. They talked about it on the Sprinter on the way down to the Canvas Beauty event. Kayla absolutely knew what happened. She knew the conversation. She knew what happened. She knew why Stormy was offended because they talked about why Tiffany was uninvited to the event. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Everybody just sees things differently, and that's okay. But for me, I don't see this as Tiffany being the villain. Do I think that Tiffany is being difficult? Yeah. But I don't think she's the villain. I'm not putting all this in Tiffany's lap. Right. Tiffany was trying to get to know Kayla. And so what's going on with her and Stormy has nothing to do with it. Right. And that's what Tiffany was like, girl, why you keep trying to want to have this conversation? I invited you here for us to get to know each other, for us to try to, you said you ain't had no girlfriend, child. I'm trying to talk to you, try to be your friend. Why do you want to keep talking about Stormy? So I understood where Tiffany was coming from to make it seem like that this was a whole setup. So anyway, I guess I missed where Stormy asked Kayla about the museum. They didn't show that. Okay. Chuck, did you watch? I'm not being funny, Chuck. I love you, baby. But did you watch the episode? I didn't say Stormy and Kayla. Okay. Tiffany felt like Kayla already knew because of the questions that Kayla was asking. And then Kayla act like she didn't know what the issue was between Tiffany and Stormy. And she knew what the issue was between Tiffany and Stormy. And production even rolled the beautiful being footage and showed that Kayla absolutely knew what the issue was between her and Stormy. So when Tiffany was like, girl, you already know what's going on. I feel like you were sent here to try to have this conversation. I feel like this was a whole setup. I'm not saying that Tiffany was right. I'm saying I understood why Tiffany felt that way. And all Kayla had to say was, well, girl, I knew Stormy was mad at you about that damn mob, but what happened at the damn Civil Rights Museum? But for Kayla to be sitting there acting clueless about any of it, Kayla act like she didn't know nothing. She act like she didn't know nothing about Stormy. She didn't know nothing about the mob. She didn't know nothing about she act like she didn't know nothing. And that's why Tiffany was like, I'm talking about, I'm not saying a setup, the lunch being a setup. I'm talking about the conversation. She felt like that Kayla was purposely steering the conversation a certain way. I don't mean a setup like Kayla invited her to lunch. I mean, like, you know, and again, I'm not saying Tiffany is right and I'm not saying Tiffany, I'm saying I understood why Tiffany felt that way, because I would have felt that way too. Like, why you want to keep talking about Stormy? I didn't invite you here to talk about Stormy. Why are we doing this? Why do you keep bringing Stormy up? So anyway, so next we have the Galentine's Day event. That what's her name? What's her name, y'all? Janera that's throwing. To be honest, Kayla's an airhead and probably wasn't paying attention. Kayla was acting dumb and continuously prodding after Tiffany at the friends said they didn't want to speak about it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, Sonetta, thank you, Sonetta. So Sonetta had her Valentine's Day event. Now, Kayla shows up, and she basically showed up because she had to, right? I'm showing up because this is my job and I got to be here. But clearly something has happened. She was crying the whole night. She was in tears the whole night, and she could not stop crying. Now, she didn't want to speak on it, which, you know, something she didn't want to talk about on camera. I can respect that. But there was clearly something going on. The girl just couldn't stop crying. The girl could not stop crying. Now, this was the first time that Amber's niece was going to be around Kayla, and baby Niecy was like, look, I see you crying and everything, but that's not going to stop me from having this good conversation with you. And she said, I'm going to be gentle with her, but I'm going to have this good conversation with her. I'm going to be a little gentle, but we're going to talk, honey. We're going to talk. And so she pulled her aside and she had the conversation. I feel like she did a good job. Yeah, Kayla. I feel like she did a good job of handling it, because I can appreciate her saying, look, we gonna talk. Like, I'm sorry that you having a bad night, but I'm not going to let this linger. I'm not going to let this fester. And I'm going to tell you how I really felt about it. And she was like, look, girl, I know I'm a lot. I know it is. I know I'm a lot. And I know that people who don't know me could easily feel like it's a lot more going on with me. So I get it. I get it that I'm a lot. I got that. I respect that. But you can't just be caught saying that kind of stuff. And then here's the reason why I'm like, once again, with Kayla, because production asked Kayla, even after she had the conversation with Kaylin, even after she apologized to Kaylin, production gonna say, so do you still feel like you were wrong for leaving that comment under the picture? And girl, she was like, I don't even know. What is so hard? Why is it so hard for this group of women to acknowledge when they hurt somebody or they violate something? When I say violate, y'all, I don't mean violate like violate. I mean, like, why is it so hard for these group of women to say, you know what, I didn't mean nothing by it, but I can see that you're upset and I apologize. I guess I'm not one of those people that feels like an apology is a weakness. And maybe that's what these women feel. Maybe these women feel like an apology is a sign of weakness. It's not. It's not. Saying you're sorry is just acknowledging, even though in the moment I didn't feel like I had done anything, I'm acknowledging that I did. And I'm acknowledging that you feel some kind of way. I'm so confused. I mean, Tiffany can't do it. Now Kayla can't do it. It's not that hard, y'all. I don't know. Anyway. So she was wrong, but Kayla extra. So that statement coming from Kayla is not surprising. The cast is very prideful. Right, Trey? It's like, it's not that damn deep. It's just, I don't know. I mean, I've had to apologize, not had to, but I have apologized to my students when they're young adults, but they have feelings. And when I do something to offend them and they can articulate it in a way that, you know, isn't disrespectful, I absolutely acknowledge. I'm so sorry. I did not mean to make you feel that way. I did not mean for it to come out like that. You know, I don't see that's not a sign of weakness. But anyway. So Kayla ends up leaving the Galentine event. And once Kayla leaves, then Tiffany lets the rest of the ladies know what happened between her and Kayla. And I guess she told them what happened between Stormy too. But she let the ladies know what happened with Kayla down to the lunch and that whole situation. I have never had a problem apologizing to someone for hurting their feelings, so I definitely do not understand this dynamic. Right. Right. And even if you didn't mean to do it, got it. You didn't mean to do it, but it doesn't change the fact that you did it. So now we're on to episode 6, and I have a live schedule, so I just have to be late for that live, child. It's gonna be all right. I forgot I was doing 2 episodes, and I thought I could do this in 1 hour, but clearly not. Hold on, let me push my other live back real quick. While I'm talking, I'll push it back while I'm talking. So we go into episode 6. Let me see. I scheduled it for 8:10. Let me push it back to 8:40. Because I'm just starting this episode. Let me push it back to 8:40. 8:40. Okay. So Stormy is having an event at her house. She's inviting all of the ladies, including Tiffany. She's inviting them to her home. She's got some special things planned for them, and boom. Okay. Fumi and her husband looking at this $2 million home. Y'all already know how I feel about this whole situation and this whole storyline. It's a beautiful home, Fumi. But if your husband is telling you that it is beyond y'all financial capability in this moment, then it's beyond y'all financial capability in this moment. What he said is, look, are you about to go get a regular full-time job? Now, Fumi said that she brings in 6 figures with her social media presence, with her content creation. She says she's monetized on all of her platforms and she brings in a 6-figure income, but that's her money. She said that's her money. When your husband said, look, you can go get a regular full-time job, or better yet, let's sell some stuff out your closet. And she said, absolutely not. So let me get this straight. You want your husband, You want to move into a $2-3 million home. You don't want to contribute financially to this. And when the person who you want to pay all of the bills says, we can't afford this, we're not at this place yet, we're not ready for this step. We could be ready if you want to contribute. We could get ready if you choose to contribute. But as long as you're not contributing, we're not ready for this. You feel like that's a problem. Your husband is just being stubborn. He just don't want you to be happy. He don't want you to be great. And then you give us this whole speech about how you want this for your kids because you want them to see success and you want them to see, no. You want to keep up with the Joneses and you want your kids to see materialism, which a lot of us, y'all know, I like labels. I have told y'all before, I like a label. I'm not going to pretend like I don't, but I don't like a label at the detriment of me being able to pay my bills. I don't like, okay, thank you. I don't like a label at the detriment of me being able to enjoy my day-to-day life. I don't think people understand all the burden that comes with it's not just the mortgage. It's the electric bill. It's the gas bill. It's the lawn care service. Do you see how much lawn that is? That's a whole nother mortgage payment. I mean, by the time you pay the light bill, the electric bill, by the time you furnish, even if you take all the furniture that you have in your home, you still got to buy more furniture because there's more house. I mean, it's a lot. It's not just the mortgage. And this man is telling you, it's just frustrating because you're equating materialism with success, and it's not the same thing. And you're talking about you want your children to see that, so you want your children to become materialistic because that's what you're teaching them. You're teaching them things equal success, and that's not always the case. I'm clear now. It's definitely the internet speed. Okay, thanks, Quake. I'm gonna have to plug in that what's that thing called? Is it an extender? I'm gonna have to plug that in, and if that doesn't work, then I'm gonna have to just go back to my other internet because this is crazy. Because I can't keep being blurry and all that stuff. That's not cool. That's not cool. Yeah, her children are happy where they are. Uprooting them could cause more harm, no matter how big. Right? I mean, are you taking them away from their friends? Are you taking them away from the school that they love? Are you for me? You just call a thing, girl. You want this for yourself because you want to give off a certain aesthetic. You think that success equals the materialism, the labels. That's what you think, and you're gonna put your family in the poorhouse, and your husband is telling you, again. It'd be one thing if you were contributing and you're like, look, I bring in a 6-figure income. I'll cover the mortgage if you cover everything else. Now that's a decent compromise to say, look, I'll use my influencer money to pay the mortgage if you can cover everything else, because him covering everything else is probably the equivalent of what he's paying now. You know what I'm saying? With the mortgage and stuff like that. Cool. Then that probably won't change our lifestyle but so much. And if you want more play money, girl, you better hustle more. Get more endorsement deals. Get more brand deals. Do more travel. You're going to have to hustle more. But if she were willing to say that, I would even be like, well, Fumi is willing to pay the mortgage, y'all. But the fact that she don't want to do nothing, she just want her husband to just probably triple their monthly bills, that's crazy. And I could even see if she said, well, my husband just made partner. We can afford it now. Girl, your husband didn't say he making more money? Right. I see people keep putting in the chat about Wendy, right? Trying to keep up with the Joneses. Your ass ended up with an indictment. Crazy, y'all. Crazy. All right, so let me see. Oop, not Pam Oliver. Y'all wrong. So Stormy is being interviewed. That's cute. That's great. That's wonderful. Stormy's being interviewed. The ladies are in the Sprinter on their way down to Stormy's home for her for her girls dinner. She only wanted to spend $20 on her husband. Ain't that what she told the? Yeah, she did tell the ladies that which I think now that they're married, she spends more. But she said before they got married that all she didn't spend more than $20 on a gift for him, child. That's crazy. But anyway, not paying all of it never gets old. Y'all crazy. They're going to success, but not their father because he's gonna be working day and night, right? So in the van on the way down, Tiffany tells the ladies that look, you know, well, Fumi tells them about the house, whatever. And again, you telling the ladies about this house you went to go see before you even bought it, again, tells me that this is all about appearances. This is all about trying to keep up with the Joneses, but okay. So then, Tiffany lets the ladies know where she stands with Stormy, and she's just, you know, she said, you know, she's just not sure how to carry things when she gets to the house. Like, should she immediately like try to have a conversation with Stormy, or should she just kind of go with the flow and enjoy the moment? And the ladies say, look, girl, just go with the flow and enjoy the moment. Like, let's not start nothing. You know what I'm saying? Let's not start nothing. Let's just enjoy the moment. Then her and Kayla sort of have a conversation. And I guess they clear the air, child. Whatever. I don't know. They clear the air, I guess. And then I'm not trying to sound like the old lady in the room. I know sometimes I just sound like the old lady in the room, and I get that, y'all. But why every time Black women, and I say Black women because that's who I'm talking about right now. Why every time Black women got to dance, why we got to twerk? Y'all even had the church lady twerking. Why we can't just get up and do a two-step? Because, listen, I hear a good song. Y'all gonna get a good two-step out of me. Why we always got to bend our ass over and twerk? I just don't. And again, I know I'm the old lady in the room, but I just don't. I don't know. I just feel like that's always the go-to, and it's just frustrating because and then even Tiffany with her little ass gonna get up there and tell me, I twerk for my husband. I don't know. You do the wop, Raven? Say I'm gonna give you a good wop. I know that's right. Like, I don't know. I just feel like every time there's a dance break and it's a bunch of Black women, we gotta bend over and show them what you're working with. And don't get me wrong. It's nothing wrong with dancing and having a good time with your friends, but I just feel like that is the go-to. It's almost like production says, okay, everybody twerk now. And I just feel like that's what we see. I mean, even down to the Real Housewives of Potomac when they was teaching Stacey how to twerk. Why? Giselle always trying to twerk with no ass. They were having some fun, but it did. And here's the thing. I'm okay with them having fun. I just feel like that's always the go-to. I just feel like Ray said, we can't do the WAP. We can't be like, y'all remember this dance from back in the day? Like, there's nothing else other than let's just bend over and twerk. But anyway, I think they should have just created the show in Huntsville. The women in Birmingham know each other. I don't really believe Stormy has friends. Well, the connection is through Amber, right? Who works for Stormy. And it kind of puts Amber in a bad situation because that's her boss. So what's she really supposed to say? If she really feels like Stacey is wrong, I mean, Stormy is wrong, is she really in a position to say, Stormy, you wrong? Because at the end of the day, that's her boss. So yeah. Nah, I don't blame it on production. That's what they do. I don't know, man. My friends don't do that every time we get together. I mean, do we dance and stuff? Yeah, we have a good time. And I'm not saying that there's never any twerking. But like, anyway, y'all get the point. Y'all get what I'm saying. I just feel like and let me say this too. If they do anything else, that's not what they show. Let me say it that way. If the ladies do any other type of dancing, they don't show us that. All they show us is the twerking. Maybe that's a better way of saying that. Maybe the ladies do other dances and they do other things. But what we see is them bending their ass over. You know what I'm saying? All Stormy's friends are employees, and that power dynamic is frustrating. Now, that's a valid point too, Chrissy. That's valid. I like it in Birmingham. I like that we're seeing a different city, but I agree. Like, none of these, like, all of these women are in Birmingham except for Stormy. But we know why Stormy's there. We know why Stormy's the anchor. I mean, I already said that at the beginning of this live. So, going back to Tiffany feeling, and I have to do this, y'all. I know y'all be like, really, be you beating a dead horse? But no, it's valid. Going back to Stormy, Tiffany feeling like this was a conspiracy between Stormy and Kayla. What's the first thing? So the ladies get to Stormy's house. Of course, it's a beautiful estate. Stormy brings the ladies in style, and they got Ace of Spades, champagne, and all this great stuff. But what's the first thing that Stormy did as soon as the ladies came in? She said, well, we're going to have a photo shoot. There's some food here. You guys can go get dressed. You know, you can go over here. You can go over there. You ladies can go get dressed. Kayla, come with me. So now if I'm Tiffany and I'm peeping that, why you pulling Kayla aside? Why you? Because I already feel like you and Kayla was talking and y'all had this whole conspiracy situation. Now, even though me and Kayla talked on the Sprinter van and we cleared the air, now my antenna done went up again because now I'm like, you didn't pull Amber to a side. You didn't pull Fumi to the side. You pulled Kayla to the side for y'all to go have a private conversation. And what did Kayla do? Told her everything that happened on the van. Told her everything that Tiffany said. So again, I'm not saying that Tiffany's right or Tiffany's wrong, but if I were in Tiffany's position, my antenna absolutely goes up and says, okay. You said that's your city? Just me say, I love it in the BAM. That's my city. Yeah, I like that we're getting a different city. I love getting to know different cities. I hate that it's the same cities. New York, LA, New York, LA, New York, LA. Give me something different. And I feel like all this plays into how the night ended too. Well, we about to get to that too, honey. So the ladies are having this photo shoot, and Stormy keeps saying, well, I can't tell y'all what the photo shoot is for. I can't tell y'all it's a surprise. It's a surprise. So the ladies are having a photo shoot, and I do feel like there was some sort of dress code because for the most part, the ladies all had on the same color scheme. It was a cream brown color scheme. And most of the ladies, it seemed was real interesting that most of the ladies had on some sort of like a reptile print. That trench coat, that outfit that Fumi had on was absolutely, baby, that outfit Fumi had on was everything. That trench coat with them pants and that, baby, that Fumi, you ate that, girl. Fumi, you ate. That thing was giving me what I needed. That thing gives me everything I needed, honey. You ate that. So after the photo shoot, the ladies are going to go eat. Here's where shit gets tricky. And I already know y'all going to disagree with me. And that's okay because I still love y'all. And I hope you still love me too. So the ladies come down. And the place settings have names. So there's reserved seating. Stormy's seat is next to Tiffany's seat. But Stormy's seat is in the middle. Amber sits down, blah, 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 blah. Stormy's one of the last people to sit down. Well, actually, Stormy is the last person to sit down. So Stormy comes in. She sees that her seat is in the middle. And she tells Amber, switch with me. She does continue to, she proceeds to say, I'm claustrophobic. I don't like being closed in. And Amber did say, yeah, I don't even know why they put your seat there. In the midst of this conversation, Tiffany goes, and she starts laughing. So now Stormy is like, what you laughing for? What's so funny? And Tiffany was like, girl, you funny. Were you laughing at me? You laughing at me being claustrophobic? You laughing because I'm claustrophobic? Tiffany was like, girl, I didn't even know that you was claustrophobic. That ain't even why I'm laughing, girl. So you laughing because I'm claustrophobic. You laughing because I'm claustrophobic. So let me go back. And I know just me, girl, I know we about to disagree, and that's okay because I love you. Stormy. See, it's not what you do. Sometimes it's how you do it. Stormy, you already know you and Tiffany ain't fucking with each other. Y'all ain't hardly been speaking. You invited her down because it was a group scene, not because you really want her in your home. Let's call a thing a thing. If we're gonna break the fourth wall, let's break the fourth wall. You only invited Tiffany because you had to. Because if this was just a private thing, you wouldn't have invited Tiffany because you really didn't want her there. And the reason why we know is because you was real quick to put her ass out. So we're gonna get to that in a minute. Stormy, all you had to say was, girl, I know what this looks like, but Tiffany, I don't like being in closed spaces. It don't have nothing to do with you. And I think that would have been the end of it. You already know that you and Tiffany are in a bad space. You getting your stuff and moving. Tiffany was already feeling some kind of way before you even said what you said about the claustrophobia. Tiffany was already feeling some kind of way because the minute you picked your stuff up and moved away from her. Now, Stormy, you probably are claustrophobic because Amber co-signed that. I believe that. And either production did that on purpose, which is what I believe. I believe production put the two of y'all together because of the optics of the show. The production put y'all sitting next to each other because of what the two of y'all had going on, thinking it would be great to have y'all sit next to each other to force y'all to have a conversation, right? Not understanding that you are claustrophobic and you don't feel no kind of way. I understand why Tiffany felt some kind of way. If me and you already not getting along and we already don't see it for each other, claustrophobic outside is kind of funny. It is. It is kind of funny. But if me and you already don't feel no kind of way and you walk into a room and you see you sitting next to me and you immediately pick your shit up and start walking away, yeah, I'm going to feel some kind of way. I'm sorry. I'm going to feel some kind of way. Just me, why are you putting everything on Tiffany? Why is everything on Tiffany? Because you said all Tiffany had to say was, dang, Stormy, you don't want to sit next to me. Why is that on Stormy? I mean, on Tiffany. Why isn't it on Stormy? Stormy's the one that's moving her stuff. Stormy's the one that's moving her plate. So why is it on Tiffany to address Stormy? Why isn't it on Stormy to say to Tiffany, hey, girl, this ain't about you. This don't have nothing to do with you. I don't like being closed in. I like sitting on the end, and I should have been on the end. And this, why is it on? That's what I'm not understanding. I'm not understanding why you're putting all of the responsibility on Tiffany when Tiffany didn't do nothing. Tiffany was sitting in the seat that they told her to sit in, minding her business, waiting for the salad to come out. That is it, and that is all. It was messy and really be, and that's the point. Why are you sitting at this girl's table being messy? What was Tiffany doing that was messy? She was sitting there. Anyway, I already knew you wasn't going to agree with my opinion. That's okay. But I just don't understand why you keep putting everything on Tiffany. Like, I don't know. But anyway, so Stormy was like, so that's funny. That's funny now. Me being claustrophobic is funny. And Tiffany was like, girl, that ain't even why I'm laughing. Like, that's not. And because Tiffany thinking something funny is already a sensitive spot, because we already argued about this damn mop situation that Tiffany still wants to say is funny, even though everybody keeps telling her the shit ain't funny, but she won't let go of the fact that in her mind it's funny. Now we arguing about Stormy changing her seat, and somehow we ended up back at the damn mop. We are still back at the mop. Tiffany was like, girl, that's not even why I was laughing. So, and I'm sure this was probably edited down. This argument maybe lasted longer than what we saw, but from what we saw, it literally looked like it went from, so you laughing at me but being claustrophobic? You can leave then. Then you can leave. Let me tell you something. I'm with Tiffany. You ain't got but one time to tell me to leave your house. You ain't never got to worry about me. Baby, I'm gone, and you ain't never got to worry about me coming back. You ain't got to tell me but one time. Tiffany said, no problem. Not a problem. You ain't got to tell me but one time. And while all this is going on, baby, all Kayla care about is these blankets. Kayla, go sit down somewhere. Just go. These people are arguing and you worried about this damn blanket. It was Stormy's event. You can't tell me that she didn't know that the table was arranged. It would have been okay if Stormy had broken the fourth wall. Yeah, in that case, I would have been okay with Stormy breaking the fourth wall too and saying, who the fuck moved the seats around? Because I really feel like that's what happened. I feel like production put them next to each other because they wanted a moment. I mean, I just feel like that's what happened. Kayla needs to be evaluated. I don't know. I'm just reading the comments. Stormy is too sensitive for reality TV. I just feel like I had a friend. Let me say this. And I already know what y'all gonna say when I say this. I know what y'all gonna say when I say this. But I had a friend in school when I was like in elementary school. Every time she got nervous, she laughed. She wasn't a good reader, right? She couldn't read that well. And y'all know back in the day when teachers used to make you read out loud, right? Remember when the teacher would like, okay, read the next paragraph, or they would just go around the room and they would just say, you're going to read paragraph by paragraph by paragraph. Y'all remember how we used to, back in the day, for those that are older, y'all know that's what they used to do back in the day. We don't do that anymore, but and she was not a great reader. So whenever it was her turn to read, she would just laugh. And it was her way of deflecting from the fact that of course, as an adult, I see it now. As a kid, we were like, why she keep fucking laughing? It's not funny. Why are you laughing? I honestly think that was one of those nervous, embarrassed laughs. I do not think that Tiffany was laughing at Stormy. And I certainly don't think that Tiffany was laughing at Stormy being claustrophobic. I think it was just that nervous, like, chuckle. I think that's what it is too. I think Kayla just has arrested development. She's stuck as that 17-year-old child that dated that 30-year-old man. But anyway, I just felt like Stormy's reaction was, and Tiffany, I don't think Tiffany was wrong when Tiffany said, you didn't even want me here to begin with. Like you were looking for anything to be mad, because Stormy went from 0 to 100. Like, to go from you laughing at being claustrophobic, well, you can leave then. Girl, you can leave. You can just leave. Huh? Like, how we... What? get to you putting me out? I think so too. I think Stormy just doesn't like Tiffany, and no matter what Tiffany does, it's going to be an issue. And I'm not saying that Tiffany is perfect. I'm not saying either one of them. I think both of them have a part in the demise of this relationship. I think both of them do. But I also feel like Stormy does not like Tiffany. And I do feel like Stormy only invited Tiffany because she had to. She did not necessarily want Tiffany in her home. She did not necessarily want Tiffany there. I think that she had to invite Tiffany because it was a group scene and they were filming this damn show. Had cameras not been there, Tiffany would never have been invited, right? And then the first thing that Tiffany did that was out of line, that was in any way, shape, or form against what you wanted, it was, bye. You can get out of my house then. You can leave. So then Amber went and followed behind because Amber was like, I really feel like I'm in the middle because, I'm friends with Stormy, I'm friends with Tiffany, and I feel like, I'm in the middle. So she goes and they proceed. Now we back at the damn mop. And can I be honest and tell you, I'm exhausted with this fucking mop conversation. I don't care no more and I'm over it. But I will say now Tiffany refuses to just fucking acknowledge. And Fumi, as much as you was getting on my nerves about that house, Fumi, you had 2 points in this situation where I feel like you had some really valid things to say. When Fumi said, Tiffany, can you just acknowledge that your flippancy about the mop and thinking it's funny is exasperating this situation? Can you just acknowledge that it wasn't fucking funny? That Stormy didn't find it funny, and that every time you repeat that it was funny to you, that you are prolonging this situation. And I was like, yes, Fumi, yes. Yes, Fumi, yes. And instead, Tiffany wants to keep double and tripling down on the fucking mop. Look. What's wrong with serving? Serving there's a blessing in the serving. What's wrong? Girl, don't nobody want to pick up a mop. Well, I shouldn't say that. There are people who enjoy cleaning. There are people who absolutely enjoy cleaning. I'm not one of them. If I don't have to pick up a mop, I'm not. And it doesn't matter. If I have told you that what you just said bothers me, just acknowledge it and let's move the fuck on. I was so exhausted with both of them. At that point, I was like, Tiffany, girl, just leave, child. Because I'm sick of both of y'all at this point. Because Tiffany, just acknowledge Stormy didn't find the shit funny. But now, Tiffany, you're exhausting me because you won't let that shit go either. You won't let it go because you don't want, now I feel like you just don't want to feel like you giving Stormy a win. You just don't want Stormy to quote unquote win. So you won't let the shit go. Tiffany won't let this, Stormy is on this whole, you laugh, you think everything is funny kind of thing. And now we right back where we started. And Tiffany, you riding back in the middle of the night by yourself in the car with your little suitcase next to you talking to your husband because you got put out in the middle of the night. Well, not the middle of the night, but it was after dark. Girl, you got put out. And it's exhausting. At this point, I'm sick of both of y'all. Because I can look at this and I can see where both of y'all have had a part in this situation just fucking dragging on. But I will say more so on Tiffany's part than Stormy's part, because Tiffany, when a person tells you offended them, it doesn't matter whether you meant to or not. What matters is that you did. They're telling you did. And unless you meant to offend them, I'm sorry that I offended you. That was not my intention. And that is it. And that is all. Me too, Trey. Trey said, I love how Tiffany keeps switching it from it was a joke to you don't know how to serve. Right. Because it wasn't a joke. And that's why I said, no, it wasn't a joke. You meant it. Because you keep going back and forth between, oh, well, it was a joke, or it's nothing wrong with serving. Serving is great. Serving is humbling. Serving is of the Lord. girl, that's now I'm with y'all on that. Now that I'm with y'all on because you're not joking. You're not joking. You mean it. You're not joking. And that's what I said. I said that at the Civil Rights Museum. I said, you not joking. And that's why you won't apologize or acknowledge, because you meant what the hell you said. You wanted that girl to mop that floor. And I said that at the beginning. I said, oh no, Tiffany meant that. Tiffany really meant for you to pick up a mop. She meant that. Tiffany's apology was not genuine because she keeps doubling down. I can agree with you on that. Tiffany thinks that she can do no wrong. That's the annoying part. I agree. And that's what I'm saying. I agree with you on that, Raven. I'm not saying that I think Tiffany's right and Stormy's wrong. I'm just saying that I think that both of them played a part in this situation. That's what I'm saying. But ultimately, I do think that Tiffany, girl, you remember what you said when you wanted that girl to pick up a mop. Let's rewind it all the way back to the beginning. You really didn't want them at that event. I told y'all could go back to my review from that episode. I didn't think that was a good event to use for the show because it was a couples event and none of them are couples. They're married, but none of them brought their husbands. So you really didn't want them there. So that really wasn't a good event to begin with. And production should have said, we're not going to film this event. Why don't you have a tea party? Why don't you have a garden party? Like, why don't you do something where you can invite the ladies to your house? But doing a game night, or why don't you have a game night with just the ladies? Like, why don't you have a singles game night? You know what I mean? And so I think that was part of the problem. So then they had to find a way for the ladies to fit in. So they made up this hostess shit and try to turn them into maids. Because I don't mean no harm. I've been a hostess before. That didn't make me a maid. Now, yeah, you want to make sure that you leave the place nice and all of that. But all that mopping and shit, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Maybe that thing was funny when Tiffany got ready to leave and she was going the wrong direction. Now that shit was funny. And Stormy followed her ass all the way out, honey. Stormy followed her all the way out. And I felt bad for Amber because Amber was inside crying because she was like, look, I just feel like I'm in the middle. What's up, Kenneth? Are you scheduling other lives and you still on one? I moved the time. to 8:40. I'm about to get off of here right now. The time should have changed from 8:10 to 8:40 because I didn't think this one was going to take me this long. But I forgot I was doing 2 episodes, so I should have remembered. But we're about to go over there right now, actually. Because that was pretty much the end of the episode, child. I felt bad for Amber because Amber is caught in the middle because Tiffany is legitimately her friend. And, she goes to Tiffany's prayer group and all of that. And Stormy is legitimately her boss. I mean, I guess they're friend-like because I feel like you can never truly be friends with somebody that's in a power position like that, like they're your boss. Like, you can be cool with your boss. You can be friendly with your boss. But I think, and I've been in situations where I've had bosses where I'm like, oh, that's my girl. We cool. Or that's, we cool. But anybody that has the power to cut off your livelihood, I don't know about friend. And Amber's in a really weird position because it ain't like she can chastise Stormy. Stormy's her boss. Stormy's husband wasn't doing nothing. His butt could have showed up to that event. Child, we don't know what Stormy's husband was doing. But none of the other husbands showed up, so So, all right, y'all. Let's get right head over to the other channel, child. We're gonna talk about my Virgin Cruise experience. My Virgin Cruise experience. It's giving jealousy. Why would she say God will take away everything she has? Yeah, now I do feel like, I don't know, child. Like I said, Tiffany, I'm not team Tiffany. But I think that goes back to what Kitty Doc was saying at the beginning, that on the streets of Birmingham, there's already the rumor is that there was tension because they feel like that, Stormy, because Stormy has the money, So I do think there's some envy there, some jealousy there with Stormy's money, So Stormy's a terrible host. She could have just left Tiffany with a to-go plate. Tiffany said, "You can just give me a pork chop or something." I don't know. All right, y'all. I'm getting ready to go over to my other channel. I do have the redirect on, but it's about a 6-minute gap. So meet me over there so you guys can hear all about my cruise that I went on last week. And I can tell you the do's and the don'ts of Virgin Cruise Lines, what I liked, what I didn't like, what I do it again, and what I would do differently. So y'all meet me over there so we can talk about it. Okay? All right. Talk to y'all later. Mwah. Peace.